biological system in the human body or in the prokaryotic cells. Those are DNA, RNA and protein. These are the three biomolecules that is under the discussion and concern. Now one property that is already discussed yesterday up to question number 24 and 25, that DNA is an autocatalytic molecule. DNA is known as a autocatalytic molecule. Autocatalytic means this molecule can make a replica of itself. So by the process of replication, they can create its own copy. Only thing is that the process is semi-conservative. But in case of prokaryotic and eukaryotic cells, sometimes they might ask you what is the difference between the prokaryotic and eukaryotic system. As we know, the genome size, the structure of genome in eukaryotic is large and it is complex. So as it is very large and complex, so the rate of replication is slow. So as you are manufacturing something very complicated, it will take some time. Suppose you are preparing a class note, and if it is very complicated, it will take more amount of time. So the rate of replication is just 50 to 100 nucleotide per second. That is why it takes hours to complete replication in a cycle of the cell division. You have read about the cell division. But in case of prokaryotic cell, they have a very small and simple genome. For example, in E. coli, you know, the genome size is not that much, 4 into 10 to the power 6. So the rate is very high, 2000 nucleotide per second. So that is the difference between the prokaryotic and eukaryotic system. I have started the class to prokaryotic and eukaryotic system in terms of the number of nucleotide per second. So this is the rate of DNA replication, or you can say this is the rate of polymerization of the DNA. Fine. Now please come to the question number 26. Up to 25 we have discussed. We have discussed the structure of transcription unit. And am I audible to all of the students? Please, once you acknowledge all of the students are here or not. You can text me, or you can just, anyone can, yes, fine, thank you. So what I'm trying to say, this chapter, if you study the all 38 chapter, out of this chapter is not toughest, but it is the deepest. Means if you study all the 38 chapter, and out of it is the with highest weightage, and it has that degree of concept we have to acquire. Means it is not like that ki all the question will come from directly from NCERT. Other than this chapter, like if you study plant physiology or animal kingdom, exactly same question will be there from the textbook. But only this chapter is concept based, so it is little bit deeper. So we have to understand everything one by one. So now if you go to the central dogma of life, can you tell me who proposed the central dogma? Can you, anyone text me who, the scientist who proposed the central dogma of life, where the molecular transition occur, where this molecular transition occur? All participants are here, so you can text me. Can you name the person who actually gave the concept of central dogma? It is Francis Crick. Very good. Francis Crick. You know the name of Watson and Crick? After the 10 years of independence, so it is 1957. So he gave the idea of Francis Crick. Very good. You have replied. Taha also. So again, this entire concept is not complete in the sense, when you are converting double-stranded DNA to the hnRNA, then mRNA, after so many modification, transcription modification, you are getting protein finally by the proper folding of protein. Another event was discussed and discovered during the time of working with the reverse transcriptase. Can you name the event by which RNA can again reform DNA? Yes, you can remember the things. Reverse transcription is the backward process from which you can make the RNA to DNA. That is also known as teminism. Do you know why it is called teminism? Because again the name is coming from the scientist Baltimore and Temin. So Baltimore and Temin, these are the name of scientists. who discovered RNA can again reform double-stranded DNA. So just for the remembering their names, we call them as a teminism or reverse transcription with the help of reverse transcriptase enzyme, and it is found in the virus, correct? So now we'll start this particular process of transcription. All the questions will be there from transcription. Question number 26. Now they are asking, select the correct statement. That means one statement will be correct or more than two will be incorrect. 26 question says, you have RNA polymerase 1, 2 and 3. To understand this, I will draw one figure. Let me draw one figure. You have noted down this one, no? This speed and all this stuff. Okay. Please note this one down, because it is very important to know, like if you have 2000 nucleotides per second and you have total this amount of nucleotides are there, so how many time it is required by the bacteria to perform replication. Just you divide this one with this, so it will be 4 into 10 to the power 6 divided by 2000. How much it will be? How much it will be? 2000 seconds or 20,000 seconds? Yes, 2000 seconds. That means around 38 minutes. That is the time required for the replication. Another one very important property of this prokaryotic replication is that, you know, they have a circular DNA in plasmid and they can form the replication fork in the Purine C region. That is what we know. One very important feature is that they perform bidirectional mode of replication. That means what they are doing, in one direction anti-clockwise they are replicating 1000 nucleotides per second, and clockwise direction they are 1000 nucleotides per second. So in total 1000 plus 1000, 2000 nucleotides per second. That is how you are getting the speed. Is it clear? Now what happened? This is the one round of replication. Now suppose this round is going. Now the fork is enlarged. Before the ending of this first fork, second round of replication is already started in prokaryotic. That is why it is very fast, and just within 40 and 45 minutes they can double and they can enhance their genome 4 times. Correct? So your first round is not finished. Again they have started second round of replication, but it is not found in the eukaryotic. They have a multiple origin of replication, but you cannot see this bidirectional mode. Is it clear? So this is the very important difference between prokaryotic and eukaryotic mode of replication. Other than the enzyme, those are involved. Okay, now what they are asking? They are asking about, name the enzyme those are involved in transcription. So first you draw this figure. First you draw one ribosome and draw one RNA. That is your ribosomal RNA. Second, you draw one mRNA. Draw one mRNA connected with the small subunit with the ribosome. Again, you draw one small figure of transfer RNA. Okay, now you write down in this way. To encode ribosomal RNA, you need RNA polymerase 1 enzyme. So what I am writing here, this is the name of the enzyme, and this enzyme helps transcription from DNA to ribosomal RNA. But this same RNA polymerase cannot create messenger RNA. For this you need another one more RNA, that is RNA polymerase 2. Fine. And this can also encode, transcribe snRNA, small nuclear RNA. But in case of tRNA, you know, third type of RNA polymerase is required. It is RNA polymerase 3. So 1, 2 and 3. You think in terms of diagram and image. Whenever you are in the exam hall and you are recalling something, think in terms of diagram or image, that RNA polymerase codes for all the RNA in the ribosome except 5S ribosomal RNA. Except this 5S cannot be encoded by RNA polymerase 1. Correct? It is done by the RNA polymerase 3. Now you read the question. RNA polymerase 1 transcribe ribosomal RNA. RNA polymerase 1 transcribed ribosomal RNA. Can you now answer the thing? Participants are there. Now, can you answer this one? Just corresponding to this figure. Taha, Adarsh, Chidanand, Pooja, Niharika, Kripal. So many students are there. Definitely option 1. If you see the option 2, RNA polymerase 2 transcribe snRNA. No, RNA polymerase 2 transcribes snRNA. snRNA transcribed by which molecule? That is 3. Sorry, this is 3. This is sorry, this is printing error. This is by 3 RNA polymerase. 2 codes for the messenger RNA. SN is done by 3. RNA polymerase 3 transcribes agent RNA. No, that is also not true. RNA polymerase 3 is not to do with agent RNA or mRNA. That is tRNA and 5S ribosomal RNA. So what their next statement? RNA polymerase 2 transcribe agent RNA. That is also true because mRNA is coming from agent RNA. Definitely. First they transcribe agent RNA. Afterwards you are getting the after splicing, capping and polyA-tailing, after capping, splicing and polyA-tailing, this hnRNA get modified to messenger RNA. Perfect, correct? So okay, all tRNA, this is the smallest tRNA, this is the smallest RNA in the biological system. tRNA is the smallest molecule in the biological system that is transcribed by this enzyme. What happens in the DNA? This particular enzyme comes and sit on. It comes and sit on and just go on. So you have a 3 enzyme molecular variation. 1, 2 and 3. These are the 3 molecular variation. RNA polymerase 3. Function is same but product is different. Same function but with a different product. snRNA is produced by which type of enzyme? Polymerase 3, correct. And 5S ribosomal RNA. This ribosomal RNA is exceptional. It cannot be transcribed by the 1. It is done by the 3. It is exceptional. Other than 5S, all the ribosomal RNAs are actually transcribed or produced from the DNA with the help of Pol 1. Next. 27. And if it is done, please acknowledge. Please tell me. If it is all of you agree with this one, then we'll move to the question number 27. Shall I clean the board, please? So it is 1, 2 and 3. You remember the figure along with. So instantly done. Okay, fine. Now we'll move to the translation part. But you can ask in eukaryotic cell why they are asking about post-transcriptional process along with this chapter. These are integrated thing. We will see this thing what happens. Just first again you draw the structure of ribosome. Now I will ask you, can you name one ion that is very important to stabilize this small subunit and large subunit of the ribosome? This is ribosome. And I am drawing here, suppose eukaryotic ribosome. Can you name the fragments? It is 30s or 40s? It is 30s, 60s or 40s, 60s? Eukaryotic? 40s. Let them say 40s and 60s. So this is the subunit. Can you name one ion? Which ion is present that actually help the binding of this ribosome, and the stability of the ribosome is done by which ion? That is the most abundant divalent cation in the human system, but that is not present in the not sodium purvic. Which ion stabilizes this ribosome, and that is very much abundant in the kelp vegetable. You know the vegetable kelp that is rich in that particular Neha, very good, magnesium, Mg+2. That is why it is very important to know if a person is drinking alcohol or a person taking huge amount of tea, the protein translation process is impaired. Why this happens? If there is a magnesium deficiency, then these two subunits cannot come close to each other. So magnesium deficiency reduce the rate of translation. Now suppose you are drinking huge amount of black tea, like 40 or 50 cups a day, suppose. So your magnesium amount will automatically drop down and the rate of translation in your body will be definitely reduced. So it is very important to maintain the magnesium ion. That is 0.001 molar. It was sent in the group. So definitely magnesium is very important ion for the translation. Now what happens? This smaller subunit binds with the mRNA during the translation process. But before that, one very important event. This particular question is associated with the series and sequence of the events. What happens after what? So if you have this kind of question and you must know what is the last event. What is the last event of this thing? Your protein and polypeptide is formed. So if you read all the option, I will read out the question. An eukaryotic cell post-transcription prepares itself for the synthesis of protein. So as to meet this metabolic need, the modified mRNA translate into protein through a sequential stepwise process. Identifying the correct sequence of steps in translation. Same things you can have in the question of the PCR. Write down the steps of PCR or DNA fingerprinting. Identify the correct sequence. So you have to first find out the first and last event. Amino acylation of the tRNA, attachment of the larger subunit of the ribosome to mRNA tRNA complex, linking of adjacent amino acid to form a polypeptide. That is the last event. You are making polypeptide, that means your job is over. So third option is, it will come at last. Now you eliminate. Second option cannot be correct because their third is not at the last. So first you eliminate 2. Now codon-anticodon reaction between RNA and amino acid tRNA complex, then attachment of mRNA with the smaller subunit of ribosome. Now see, before codon and anticodon interaction, like you have mRNA, now joining these things will be there, but before that, because tRNA will sit here, mRNA is binding with it, so tRNA now, it will come here. It is like a platform. Ribosome is like a table or a platform on which they will come and sit. But before that, it has to be charged. Like a cell phone charging, we have to charge it up with the addition of the amino acid. That is called the amino acylation of the tRNA. So that is the very first event, charging of tRNA. You can note it down. Charging of the tRNA or amino acylation of the tRNA. Definitely that is the first event. So first will come first, then something will come. So now you can eliminate the option 4 because second is coming further. Now what happened next? Codon, anticodon reaction, attachment of larger subunit to the ribosome and tRNA. What will happen next? You read out the statements again. What happens now? Hydrogen bonds are formed. It is the time where the hydrogen bonds will be formed. That is why it is very conceptual questions. Now your mRNA codons are here. 3 codons are here. Now you have anticodons are here. Now you know that codon and anticodon nitrogen bases are there. So definitely nitrogen base will form the triplet. So definitely they will form the hydrogen bond. Now when the hydrogen bonds are formed, this structure will come close to each other. So your fourth option will be the third. Codon-anticodon reaction between RNA reaction between RNA and amino acid tRNA complex. That is true. This is your RNA and small subunit complex. Now it is your tRNA complex. So this is coming to close each other by formation of hydrogen bond in the cytoplasm. Okay, translation occur in the cytoplasm. Definitely, everything is happening in the cytoplasm, I should say. So fourth option will be third. Then what will happen? Third is done, definitely, so your fourth option will be here. Then what is the next thing? Automatically your first, then 5, sorry, first they have done, then 5 is done. That is first amino acylation is there, 5 is there your attachment of mRNA with a smaller subunit, that is done. So it is your first event, charging is first, then this attachment is the second event, then it is third event, last is done. What is the fourth event? Last, what is the next event? What will happen? See, attachment of larger subunit of the ribosome to the mRNA tRNA complex. So mRNA tRNA has been complexed. Now what this will be done? Now this table will close to each other. Now ribosome now understand all setups are ready. Now we are ready to come close to each other. What will happen from it? tRNA and mRNA bond is done. Now this ribosome will come close to each other. Then you have the translation machinery. That is why it is called a protein factory and translation machinery. You can also get a polysome complex. You can also get a polysome. So when this ribosome will feel that mRNA has properly attached and recognized this one, then they will form the mRNA tRNA complex by just reducing the distance. Correct? This is the steps. These are the steps. So which option will be correct now? Is it clear? Okay. So in this kind of question you eliminate. If you know the first and last event, no, calcium is not the important molecule. Here calcium is there for the muscle contraction. I will study this one. Just once you cross check the group, yes, magnesium should be correct. So magnesium is also important to bring them close to each other. Now in this moment at the final stage, the polypeptides will be formed. Fine. So these are the steps. Same question you can expect from the DNA fingerprinting. You could have a question that is also there in the focus material. So that we have already discussed in the class. So focus material we will tally with it. You can have DNA fingerprinting steps. You can have a gel electrophoresis. What is the first and last? In that case you remember only the first and last stage. So in that case you can eliminate the odd options. Correct? Next. Now rest of the questions are very easy. In transcription unit, next class will start the locomotion. Then we will study that one. Okay. Now in transcription unit, the terminator is located towards. Again, the same things are coming from transcription unit. Shall I erase this one? Those who have joined later, please note it down. In the meantime, I will ask you one question. Those who are noting still, or you can take a screenshot. Anyone can tell me the helicase is ATP dependent or helicase is ATP independent? Can you tell me, anybody? In the meantime, helicase enzyme that breaks the hydrogen bond, is it ATP dependent or ATP independent? Indeed ATP dependent. That is why you go for the summary of this. Helicase is ATP dependent or independent? Cross check. Yes, it is ATP dependent. So you need huge amount of ATP. That is, muscle cell can divide. Muscle cell can divide. Our body muscle cell can divide. The muscle cell cannot divide. That means those cells cannot divide. Replication cannot perform. That means they are using the ATP for other purpose. But if your cell is always dividing, like stomach epithelial cell, that means huge amount of ATP is required at that time. Very good. And in the next class also we'll study the creatine phosphatase. ATP is not only the energy producer. For any biological purpose, creatine phosphatase is also there. Okay. Is it done? Shall I erase it? Another, I want to ask you one more question. Can you synthesize RNA without DNA? Anybody who is there? Still those are noting. Taha, the skin, Tripti, anyone? Can you tell me, can you synthesize RNA without DNA? If you can answer this one, then I will understand you are revising. Can you synthesize DNA without DNA? Sorry, RNA without DNA? One enzyme is there. Anybody? Severo-Ochoa enzyme, underlined from the textbook. I request you to go to the page number 282. 282. Right side. 282. Right side. Can you see one enzyme? Severo-Ochoa enzyme. 282 page number. Future codes. You got it? Yes. Severo-Ochoa enzyme, you underline this one. With the help of this enzyme, you can synthesize RNA with the template independent manner. That is what they are saying. You do not need any template to perform, but that is not in the natural case in the human being. That is artificially prepared, that one, but that is possible. So what they are saying in the next statement, In the transcription unit, the terminator is located. They are asking about the terminator. To answer it, you just go to the page number 49, 290, question number 49. Can you see the transcription unit structure? Or if I draw it here, let me draw. It's not that much difficult. You can draw here simply 5 prime to 3 prime, 3 prime to 5 prime. This is your template. This is your coding. This is your promoter part. This is your terminator part. So now they are asking transcription unit, the terminator is located towards the which part it is located. Can you please once pronounce that enzyme? Severo-Ochoa enzyme. That is a Severo-Ochoa enzyme. You go to the page number and underline. That is polynucleotide phosphorylase. In normal condition, okay, in normal condition, RNA polymerase helping for the RNA transcription, correct? In normal case, RNA polymerase is important, but in rare case, discovered by Severo-Ochoa, and he was a Nobel laureate also. He used that Severo-Ochoa enzyme, polynucleotide phosphorylase. Okay, page 282, right side corner of this book you have. It is also in the NCERT too. Okay. Now you tell me where is the terminator is located? It is 3' end of the coding strand. So we'll respect to this coding strand. We will tell this is the 3' of the coding strand. Another very important information I have to share with you. Now suppose this is your RNA polymerase enzyme. Suppose this is your RNA polymerase enzyme with multiple subunits. It is your RNA pol. Now you have a 3 into 10 to the power 9 millions of base pairs are there in the DNA. Now how this RNA polymerase will recognize this promoter? Because at the final story, it has to come and sit here, and they will create a mRNA from it or hnRNA from it. But how does, my question is, how does this enzyme recognize this place is the promoter? Anybody? How does this enzyme will confirm this part is the promoter? For that they use a molecular factor called sigma factor. Please note it down. They use, this is the Greek letter sigma, they use the sigma factor to recognize the promoter. If you remove the sigma factor, they cannot recognize which part is the promoter. They will just searching for here and there. It is like torchlight, and to identify this part is the promoter. Clear? So sigma factor, you will be having this kind of question. So 28 answer will be 3' end of the coding strand. 3' end of the coding strand you have the terminator, and 3' end of the template strand you have a promoter. Correct? Yes. So yes. Next, which option is correct? So that means 3 will be incorrect. Out of it, 3 options will be incorrect. 1 will be correct. Introns are present in mRNA and exons in the tRNA. Codons are present in mRNA and anticodons in tRNA. Every intron is a set of 3 terminator codons. Exons are present in eukaryotic and introns in the prokaryotic. Can you answer it? I'm erasing these things, huh? Okay, now we'll see. First, introns and exons. What they are saying, if I draw first the hnRNA, I will draw the hnRNA. Now, this is your RNA polymerase. 2. Second, it has encoded hnRNA from the DNA. Yes. Now, you have to remove this, like this part is the intron. Intron means inactivated part. So these parts are mainly heterochromatic, and this part is mostly euchromatic. Later on they will, when they coil, they will form. Now you have to splice these things out. So you will get these small fragments, and then they will be joined. As ligands join in the DNA replication, but here you are splicing and they will be joined chemically. How they are get joined, what are the other factors that we'll study in the higher class, you have details. Now you have complete set of introns, no junk part, no heterochromatin or no intron. This is your mRNA. Correct? So mRNA, in the mRNA, there is a no split, no separated genes. All genes are functioning. But if you see any gene where exons and introns are present in this fashion, exon intron or intron exon again intron, this is called split gene. Perfect. So introns are present in mRNA, that is false. So first statement is false. Codons are present in the mRNA and anticodon, that is true. If you have a DNA, genetic code is present on the mRNA, that we have to remember. Genetic code is present on the mRNA. What is the proof that genetic code is present on the mRNA? The proof is that the genetic code doesn't have the letter T. So that means U is present. Definitely it is present on the mRNA. So lacking of T proves that it is in the mRNA. Correct? If it is present in the DNA, that we call the codogen. So codon is coming from the codogen. It contains, suppose if I say AUG, it is a codon. So ATG will be the codogen. Or if you simply complement it, just in place of uracil, you will get the thymine T. Correct? So all in the genetic code, the uracil is present, and afterwards anticodon is present in the tRNA. And anticodon and codon base pair combine with the hydrogen bond. So every intron is a set of 3 terminator. That is also false. Introns are inactive part, so there is no question of having nitrogen base or your codons. Exons are present in eukaryotic and introns are in prokaryotic. Again, this is a different difference. In prokaryotic cells, they doesn't have any introns. Prokaryotic cells, introns are absent. That is the reason in bacterial cell there is no splicing. Bacterial cell, no splicing. It has been discussed in the class several times that bacteria do not form splicing. They don't have that time or energy, and they don't have intron. Correct? So that is why bacteria doesn't have an intron, prokaryotic cell. Another property of prokaryotic cells are there: transcription and translation. That means RNA formation and protein formation occur at the same time in the cell because they don't have any cell membrane. So as their nucleus is there and there is no boundary in the nucleus, so the moment the DNA is forming RNA, the same moment it has to form the protein, otherwise some enzyme will destroy it. So in eukaryotic and introns are in prokaryotic. Fine. So as you don't have an intron, at the same time the protein formation, translation and transcription occur at the same time. What should be the drawing here? So you have the cell, prokaryotic, nucleus is not there, so DNA is there, it is forming RNA. At the same time it will start translation. So translation and transcription is conjugated in the prokaryotic cell. This statement is true or false. This kind of question we can expect. Next, question number 30. Is it okay? So we can move forward. Shall I move forward? 30. Now you know what is a split gene. Prokaryotic cell doesn't have intron. All the things are exon. So now we can move to the next question. Shall I? Yes, sir. Read the following statement and choose the correct option. Okay, we shall read first. RNA polymer is associated transiently with the Rho factor to initiate transcription. No, we have already discussed that to initiate transcription you need a sigma factor. Correct? This is your sigma factor that you need. Sigma factor is required to start transcription. Rho factor, Rho is another Greek letter. It is a Rho dependent. Where what happens in this way? You have a DNA. Now RNAs are continuously forming. Now this point you have to make a stop. So the enzyme RNA polymerase is here. This is your enzyme RNA pol. This is the RNA pol enzyme. So it is moving. Now it will get a stop signal from the Rho protein. So Rho protein will come and bind and tell the this enzyme, you have to stop, otherwise the mRNA or hnRNA will be infinitely long. So row dependent transcription is a process of termination. Another is that row independent. You can note it down. There are two different types of transcription termination. One is the row dependent. Row, this protein factor will come and bind here and put the stop signal at the stop codon as stop codon in the translation. But in case of row independent, what will happen in this part a loop is formed. This kind of hairpin loop is formed. Girls, those use the hairpin to stabilize their hair. Similarly, hairpin loop like structure is found. So this hairpin will form here and the DNA polymerase will stuck here. So it cannot go. So either it will be this loop hairpin, RNA will form the hairpin loop to stop the terminate the thing, or it could be dependent on row. Next, in bacteria, transcription and translation takes place in the same compartment. That is also true because they have only one compartment, cytosol. There is no nuclear membrane, correct? So the second statement is correct. Still, you will read all the things. RNA polymerase 1 is responsible for the transcription of the tRNA. That is true. RNA polymerase, RNA polymerase 1 for ribosomal RNA. tRNA is by the RNA polymerase. tRNA is by RNA polymerase 3. Yes. When hrRNA undergoes capping and process of adenylation residues, option number 4. Read out these things. First is wrong. So when the first is wrong, your first option is correct. Just your cross is incorrect. When hrRNA undergo capping process, adenylate residues are added. That is the capping and adenylation process in the hnRNA. Okay, it's a post-transcriptional modification. Next option, they are saying hnRNA is precursor of mRNA. The fifth option is true. Second and fifth option is true. Can you answer it now? Can you answer it now? One, 4 correct. 1 is wrong. The first option cannot be true. 3 and 5. 3 is incorrect. So second option cannot be true. Second, third and fifth are correct. Second, third and fifth are correct. Third is not correct. So definitely your fourth option will be under your choice. See what happens. Can you tell me capping occur in mRNA or hnRNA? Can you tell me capping, like you have RNA, so 5-methyl guanosine, some molecule is attached to the, now it is hnRNA or mRNA, because before splicing, after splicing you will be getting mRNA. Capping occur in hnRNA or mRNA? Can you tell me? If you have the NCERT, you can see and tell. So definitely your fourth option is rejected. When the process of capping is occurring after the splicing of the hnRNA, so that case your mRNA is under construction and definitely your other choices are not matching. Next, move to the 31st. Transcription initiated by, now 4 options are there. Only sigma factor? No, sigma factor is a helper. It is helping to recognize. Not only, it is a helper. Only DNA dependent RNA polymerase and only rho factor transcription is initiated by RNA polymerase when it associates with the sigma factor. Which option should be correct? Fourth one, very simple. Correct. And there are different types of RNA polymerase. DNA dependent RNA polymerase is there. Suppose you are making RNA to RNA, that means RNA dependent RNA poly. If I am saying DNA dependent RNA polymerase, that means you dependent on the DNA as a template and you are making the RNA. So it is a DNA dependent RNA polymerase. Correct. So which option is correct for this one? Fourth one definitely. Association of the sigma with the RNA polymerase. Next, move to the next 32. Structural genes in eukaryotic possess coding and non-coding sequence called, this is already discussed. Definitely, it is very easy. Structural part is excited part. E for excited or functional. I for inactive part. So it is an intron. Okay, anyone just you reply with it? It is very important to reply because that way I will understand you either you are here or not. You are listening. Okay. Only few times are left, so just you prepare and please reply with it. Things are very simple. We'll finish it, then we'll start the new thing, or just we'll go for some discussion. Anyone? Anybody is there? Question number 32. I am asking. Coding and non-coding part are respectively have to match. Which one is 1 and which one is 2? 32 option 2, and definitely exon and introns are there. Enhancer is a different thing. Enhancer is another part of the DNA where you can enhance the process of this central dogma. They enhance the interaction within the genes. Select the wrong statement. Next 33. Select the wrong statement. Sigma subunit of the RNA polymerase recognizes the promoter. That is very true. You have the RNA polymerase and you have a sigma factor. So your RNA polymerase is here. And your sigma factor is connected here. So that thing is true. Monocystronic mRNA is produced in eukaryotic. That is very interesting. That is also true. Because I should not discuss it because so many times we have discussed lac operon. Correct? So lac operon you can see lac Z, lac Y and lac A. 3 genes are there under the same promoter. So it is like this. Suppose you are fond of classical music. So you have made a separate classical music folder, and under the same folder you have a same type of song. So genes that is under the same function, same biomolecular purpose, not same protein coding purpose. See, they are coding separate different proteins, but the purpose is same. What is the purpose? Metabolism of lactose, correct? So all the genes that is under the same purpose, they will code something different, but they will use for same purpose, for lactose metabolism. So these are polycystronic, and that is found in the bacteria or prokaryotic cell. But in case of human, one promoter control one gene, so it is monocystronic. Mono means single, cistron is the equivalent term for the gene. Cistron is the equivalent term for the gene. Same thing, but have a different understanding, a better understanding. Is it fine? So now prokaryotic, now you try to answer this one. Okay, next, in prokaryotic, the primary mRNA transcript undergoes splicing. Is it true? Just we have discussed, they doesn't perform splicing. So transcription occur in cytoplasm in prokaryotic cytoplasm, and that is also transcription occur in cytoplasm in prokaryotes, also in the cytoplasm. That is also true. So your wrong option should be 3. You understand this one? You know the meaning of splicing? Which part you have to splice out? Intron or exon? Which part you will splice out? Exon part or intron part? Participants are there, but they are not replying. I don't know why. Tripti, Taskin, Taha, Sona, Sriyash. Purvik is there. Very good. Fine. Okay. So definitely intron parts should be spliced out because they doesn't code for any functional proteins or functional molecules. Very good. Next, now the part is genetic code. Genetic code. See, we cannot remember everything, all the names in the genetic code, but we will revise it. Later I will tell you some tricks to remember it, but for the time being we'll move the basic things. The genetic code is ambiguous. First statement is there, you have to find the wrong statement. Ambiguous means uncertain. Ambiguous means uncertain. That means if I say AUG, sometimes coding for methionine, sometimes coding for the tryptophan, and sometimes coding for valine. So it means, Hemant, you have any questions? So that means it is ambiguous. So genetic code is not ambiguous. So that option is not correct. Genetic code is degenerative. Okay, it degenerate because you can have a more than one codon that can code for the same thing. Suppose you can code for phenylalanine, and C is also code for phenylalanine. So that property is also there. Genetic code is universal or semi-universal, that is true. And genetic code is non-overlapping, that is also true. If I write this way, fat, cat, sat, and mat. Now you have a triplet set. If you change this order, like if I take this 3 and this 3, it will not make any sense. So whatever the things are there, you cannot make a overlapping sense. So it cannot be overlapped. So definitely it is always non-overlapping. And if there is a mutation, that is called frame shift mutation, as you know. If I shift the frame from one frame to another frame and make it triplet, the total meaning will be changed. Correct? Fine. Next one is 35. Which of the following pair is correctly matched? For this you have to revise a little bit. Just revise the genetic code a little bit. UUA is a valine. AAA is lysine. Which one is correctly matched? AUG is a cysteine. First you cross the 3. 3 cannot be correct because AUG is for methionine. That we know. Now you tell me please try to answer it. Valine is encoded by GUX. Please check the genetic code once. Is it true? GUX is coding for valine. X means either U, C, A or G. Just you once cross check. Nandish also please. GU, U or C, A, G. This is coding for valine. Is it true? See the genetic code. GU. Anything. You can write it X. And you can put X, U, C, A, G, anything. So this is code for valine. So first option is not correct. Now you check for that one. AA is a lysine or not? Definitely that is true. Once you cross check the genetic code. Are you there? Please check the genetic code once. The table. Just need some revision.